Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today we're getting ready for the long weekend as Villese, playing as the Blue Vikings, gets ready to take on Mr. Yo, playing as the Red Ethiopians. Now while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings, and try to go up to Feudal as fast as possible, let's take a look at the respective civ matchup we'll be watching today. Now the Vikings are a civilization that focuses primarily on its infantry. Starting in Feudal, all infantry units get more HP and can be upgraded to get an attack boost against cavalry and camel units. Now this boost does affect the first unique unit of the Vikings, the Berserker, a durable, well-armored, strong infantry unit whose health automatically regenerates at a rate of 20 HP per minute, although this can be upgraded to go double at 40 HP per minute. Now, to support production of an army as fast as possible and develop their economy as fast as possible, Vikings get both the wheelbarrow and the handcart upgrades for free, which saves a significant amount of resources and the time required to research those upgrades. Now, opposing Villese as the Red Ethiopians, we have Mr. Yo, a civilization designed to kill its opponents as fast as possible. Ethiopian foot archers are the fastest firing foot archers in the game. Their onagers, their scorpions, rams, and bombard cannons can be upgraded to have a huge blast radius, and their unique unit, the Shotel warrior, is a fast, incredibly strong, but fragile infantry unit that can be upgraded to train in only 4 in-game seconds. Now, to support their military endeavors out on the map, Ethiopians get 100 food and 100 gold for free every time they go up in age. They get the pikeman upgrade for free, which, like the wheelbarrow and handcart options of the Vikings, the bonus of the Vikings, saves a player a good amount of resources and also the time required to go research that upgrade. And lastly, the Ethiopian economy is much harder to raid because their towers and their outposts come with a big boost to their line of sight. I believe it's +3, so they can see you coming from a mile away. Now, while the players continue to build their bases, establish themselves out on the map, both sitting on 12 villagers at the moment, let's take a look at their actual map presence, see if we can determine if any particular player has an advantage or disadvantage over his opponent. Mr. Yo completely open to the west. Easy to wall off the south. The back of his base a little bit exposed, although easier to wall off the northern bits. But the part facing his opponent, incredibly open. His primary gold also very exposed here in the front, would do well to take these hills, this range over here, so that his opponent does not. Oh, having a bit of trouble with his ostrich. Looks like it did take one hunter shot to the face, but for now he's moving to take the second ostrich while the first one returns home to its nesting grounds. Rhino very close to the house. We'll see if the hunter takes him immediately. His opponent, Villese, also incredibly open in the east, incredibly open to the north, the south, a little bit easier to wall off here. Although, as we all know, anyone who's ever played this kind of map, these annoying little pawns that they throw in there, you have to wall a little bit here, you have to wall a little bit here, you have to make sure you don't miss any portion. Very annoying to wall off. His gold nice and secure in the back. Primary stone very far off campus, very exposed. Mr. Yo's primary stone a little bit safer. So overall, Mr. Yo's gold more exposed, but his stone safer. The exact opposite true for Villese. His gold safe, his primary stone exposed. Building a barracks is he, getting loom. Mr. Yo first to click up to Feudal on the back of 18 villagers. Okay. So not the standard 20 that we see, but 18 is not terrible at all. More and more being pulled off the food lines to go jack some lumber here to the north. What kind of trees are these? These are dragon trees. Okay, very cool. And let's see what our opponents, our players rather, have seen of the map. This one half-dead ostrich finally biting the dust, and now Mr. Yo is free to go and explore. Take a look at the mini-map. He has seen nothing out on the map, and yeah, he knows that the gold is exposed, so he's going to try to do some kind of mini wall off here. I don't think he's going to wall the full thing, or if he does, it's going to cost a lot of lumber, but for now, only a barracks and a house. It looks like Villese has already seen, yeah, he's seen the extremity of his opponent's base. He's seen the gold. He's seen the stone. He knows exactly where his opponent is located. You don't get 2662 Elo without knowing exactly where your opponent is through these kind of indicators and markers. Mr. Yo hitting Feudal. 18 seconds behind. That's pretty funny. 18 seconds. The Ethiopian archers do fire 18% faster, so a little bit of synchronicity for those who believe in that kind of stuff. And now both players are in Feudal. Let's take a look at what our red Ethiopian is building. An archery range, not a surprise. And his scout is coming back. Has he seen? Yeah, so he scouted just the tip of his opponent's base. Says, you know what? I don't need to know exactly where he is. I don't need to know all the avenues of attack to the north, to the south. It looks like it's actually Villese with the men-at-arms upgrade who's looking to put on pressure with 3 militia who, right as I highlight them, become men-at-arms, although they have to back away. There's no way they can engage into a town center. Incredibly weak units. Although does engage into the town center fire with his scout. Does take a little bit of damage from another, from Mr. Yo's scout. Okay, and now Mr. Yo walling himself off. Not a terrible idea here to wall off. I mean, this is walled off, right? This gap here between these two, it should be a wall off. Not a bad idea. Your opponent is not going ranged units, so your units are nice and safe in here, although maybe you want to do something with these 3 villagers who are just idling. What is he attacking? What is on fire here? It's not the mill. Oh, it must be this one palisade wall. Yeah, one palisade wall behind the mill. And now Mr. Yo should be able to shoo this away with the presence of 2 archers. His scout cavalry should be able to tank if Villese decides to turn around. I see another blue dot going across the map. The archer of the Viking player. Okay. So we're going to have a little bit of a feudal age fracas here at the front of Mr. Yo's base. And like I said, I didn't expect him to wall off this entire thing, although this shouldn't be, I mean, what is this, 3 houses? So not the end of the world in terms of wood, but I didn't expect him to be walling this entire part off, but a beautiful wall off nonetheless. Now secures his gold far away enough that feudal age archers are not going to be able to reach these villagers unless they try to bust in, but I think he's basically walled himself off. Huge nugget of gold being carried by this one villager, and now Mr. Yo, chasing a little bit too far, runs face first into a skirmisher and some supporting archers, needs to back away. Let's take a look at what Villese is building. Very much in the meta of the Vikings to go archers at the moment. And so we should have a nice, fun ranged war here between the faster firing Ethiopian archers and just the, you know, pretty decent Viking archer roster. They only miss, I think, hand cannoneer and heavy cavalry, although remember, they don't get thumb ring, so their archers are not as strong as they possibly could be. Blocking the north of his base with a series of houses here, using the stone as a natural defense mechanism. My favorite lemon bush here with the pretty blue butterflies is almost depleted. And now he's moving forward. 10 army supply to 8, 30 villagers to 31. Villese investing in military. Mr. Yo investing in villager count, going up to 35 villagers. But for now, the parties disengage. Neither player really wanting to commit any heavy losses. To me, that smells like they want to keep their units around for Castle Age so that they can upgrade these archers into crossbows. Or maybe they're just waiting to build up bigger army supply. I mean, take a look at the HP on Villese's army. It's down about, what is that, 30%? So he has to be very careful. Mr. Yo's army down about 20% in HP, although he should not be taking this fight, especially with Villese on the high ground. Although now he's circling his opponent with 2 scout cavalry of his own. Let's see what he get, any damage he can get done here. Villese opting not to wall off his base, but rather to create a funnel. Let's see his reaction time for now. Not terrible. Scouts do take a little bit of archer fire from this town center, from these civilian archers that garrison inside in these little cubbies and these little rooms, throwing whatever they can at those 2 scouts to make sure those scouts do not get past them for free. And now Mr. Yo finally at the 17-minute mark of the game is exploring the extremities of his opponent's base. Villese, take a look. He's seen everything. And so he's in a much better position right now in terms of scouting, and he's getting the high ground here. This one man-at-arms really wanting to break through to this house, but two villagers repairing it, taking some archer fire. Oh no, what a... Oh, sorry, I'm trying not to swear. What a sour loss here of a villager for Mr. Yo. And our first civilian kill of the game goes to our blue Viking. And like I said, this is such an annoying thing. He realizes it's not walled off. Builds a house here instead of just a few palisades on the outer sandbanks of this little tiny river. We'll call it the Box Turtle River, or rather the Box Turtle Lake. And so this is what I was talking about. Super annoying when you have these. You have to be so careful that you don't miss any little tiny area that can be used by your opponent to get and sneak into your base. Defensive tower, not a terrible idea here. I mean, you invest your stone, so now when you hit castle, you can't really plop down a town center immediately, but does shoo away all this aggression, needs to shoo this aggression away, especially with his house sitting at 37 HP and only 2 skirmishers here to defend it. Does need to make sure he has the gold. I mean, if you're going to go archers, you need to make sure that your gold game is on point. Although it does have a nice secure gold pile here in the back. Okay, I don't mind this wall off of a market, etc. But needs to come up with his own range units. Take a look at the military supply. 17 Viking army, 15, 14. Okay, he's getting a few kills. Mr. Yo's doing really well with whatever little force he has here. 17 has become 14, 15, but he still is only sitting. This is the entire Ethiopian army right now. 3 skirmishers going up to a 4th, but he is 50 seconds ahead of his opponent when it comes to going up to castle. The question is, will it even matter? Because now he's behind significantly when it comes to units. If the numbers were reversed, I would love the situation here for Mr. Yo. If he had all of these archers that would be upgraded to crossbows, but now has to retreat. Villese busting his way in. What a disaster for Mr. Yo. Although Villese choosing to go north will run into a shanty town, a ghost town here. No more lumberjacks, no more villagers. Let's see what his vision is like. Will he see the market? Will he continue just circling around the back of his opponent's base? More and more blue units streaming across the map. A villager as well. Let's see what she's going to build for us. 9 seconds away from castle, though, is Mr. Yo with all of these skirmishers. Should be able to shoo away a little bit. First knight coming out for our red Ethiopian. Quantity-wise, though, 1 knight should not be enough to get rid of all this army, especially since Villese... Actually, you know what? This is... HP is terrible. 80 HP out of 210 is absolutely atrocious. A second town center going up for our Ethiopian player, who now has his first knight out. Villese sees it, immediately retreats with his scout cav. Yeah, you know what? Mr. Yo's HP is not great, but Villese isn't fighting. He's just continuing to walk around, taking a few javelins to the face here and there. These are not very well upgraded skirmishers, and so they are missing their targets. Okay, does manage to get a crossbow. Okay. Oh, turns around. Villese saying, I've had enough of you chasing and tickling away at the HP of my army, but a fresh force of 10 crossbows moving forward. These palisades are not going to last very long, but a siege workshop nicely done by Mr. Yo should be able to shoo away any kind of ranged units, although he needs to deal with these 3 guys. Oh, will he garrison his villagers? Yes, he does immediately. And now Villese making a mistake, heading straight into the town center. Will lose 2 of the crossbows. The 3rd will go down to this second Ethiopian knight, or rather maybe first. The second one in production. And now we've got Viking knights to oppose our Ethiopian knights. What did he build in the center here? Okay, a house and a siege workshop, a monastery, another house, So Villese is making himself comfortable in the center of the map. He intends to continue with the pressure. This is not a small army by any stretch of the imagination. 20 army supply against 6. Oh god, a scorpion. Interesting choice here by Mr. Yo. A second scorpion, okay. Always like to see something a little outside the ordinary. A mangonel probably would have been most players' choice there. Town center going up for our blue Viking next to this gold. This is incredibly exposed in the middle of nowhere, and the reason he feels comfortable building that is because he is the one putting on the pressure. Ethiopian knight goes down, his blood watering the sands of Arabia. Another one goes down. Mr. Yo cannot afford to take these kinds of losses. This is not good for him. And now his army supply has been knocked down to 2. 2 army supply, and that 2 army supply is an incredibly slow-moving scorpions. A third town center. Our Viking smells blood in the water. He knows that he can start putting on, or rather start going out onto the map and not have to worry about any kind of aggression from our red Ethiopian, who is now going to be shoot away from this wood line as well. Oh, terrible, terrible loss of wood line here for Mr. Yo, who's now gone up to a massive 4 army supply, going monks to counter these knights. But with this many crossbows, I don't know that monks are going to be very effective here. Villese circling to the north with his knights. Let's see what he decides to do. Must have seen. No, he still has not seen the market, although now we'll see the market, and the house would do well to go for the palisade, although only 1 or 2 knights at a time can attack this, which gives Mr. Yo plenty of time to do a secondary wall off. Mr. Yo coming out with a mangonel of his own. Let's see if 1 hero mangonel can take on 2 Viking mangonels. Okay, does get 1 of Mr. Yo's mangonels, but pays the price, dies, does not get the second, with his 1 villager very cocky, peacocking here. Where are these scorpions going? Oh, they both bite the dust, and now Mr. Yo is down to 4 army supply yet again. 1 knight, 1 mangonel, and 3 monks. Where are the monks? Okay, building a wall here. At least that's going to last a little bit longer than these palisades. Beautiful shot here by this red mangonel. Avoids the counter hit and takes out Villese's entire aggressive capabilities here with 1 fell shot of this mangonel. This is the beauty of this game. 1 unit with 1 shot can force your opponent with a massive army supply. Take a look, he's up 500% when it comes to army supply, although Mr. Yo being a little bit greedy here, going up to 78, 81 villagers, getting economic upgrades at the moment when his opponent is circling his base like a Viking shark. Mr. Yo did manage to sneak in 1 knight, though. We'll see what this knight can do. But yeah, as I was saying, 1 mangonel shot manages to dislodge the entire offensive force of your opponent. This is the beauty of this game. As with any kind of informational asymmetry, your opponent does not know what the hell you have until he ventures out onto the map. The knights try to move forward. They run immediately into 2 monks, although these monks have to be careful. You can't really park here with those crossbows. Army supply now growing and growing for our blue Viking, who continues to make himself at home here. Another house. Moving forward with a shit ton of crossbows. This is 22 crossbows going up to 24. And he is 45 seconds away from Imperial. 10 villagers on stone, although very, very far away from being able to afford a castle. Mr. Yo, on the other hand, 673 gives him just enough stone for a castle. So he's going to rely on his static defense here. His mangonel circling. Let's see if he manages to get any kind of damage done. Nope, the knights are just way too fast. And Villese's reaction time just way too good. And now these 2 mangonels will be joined by a third, which is just about ready to pop out, but how will he stop these rams? Battering ram going up to capped ram bracer. So these crossbows are going to be incredibly powerful. Has a shit ton of gold as our Viking player, who is housed at 125. A lot of red sniper lines from the monks going down. Let's see if he manages to actually get any converts. Instead loses a monk. Might lose a second one as well. Chemistry for our blue Viking. So he is very much investing into his ranged units. Not a fan of this castle placement. I get it. I get that you want to defend the gold here. But it is at the base of the hill. It is not a king of the hill castle by any stretch of the imagination, although your opponent is, for some bizarre reason, moving forward with these rams into the castle kill zones. What do we have here? 2 annoying crossbows picking away, and in 30 seconds, these will be arbalests. Blue continuing to expand the spear of Viking aggression. More archery ranges going down. Okay, so we're going to see ourselves a good old-fashioned ranged war. Mr. Yo a minute away from being in castle, getting the crossbow upgrade with literally 0 crossbows on the field, or archers of any kind out on the field. Thumb ring going down for him as well. But now these are arbalests. These should be able to get rid of the mangonels with ease, and they really want... I don't think they're going to die, although, oh god. Again, the HP on these guys. Villese would do well to bring forward a few monks, I think. A second castle. Okay, a better location for a castle for Mr. Yo. The question is, his opponent sees it immediately. Will he let it go up? Or will this one mangonel still be enough? I don't think it's going to be enough to shoo away... How many is this? 17 arbalests that, by the way, now outrange, I think, this mangonel, right? This mangonel should be a 7. The arbalest should be an 8. Getting armor for these archers, although the castle does go up. Capped ram moving forward. Okay. These 2 crossbows have become 1 arbalest. The second crossbow moving this way. Just being annoying, tickling away at the HP. And in come 3 rams. And a trebuchet. Mr. Yo is in significant amounts of trouble right now. He is baroque as a joke. 200 gold, 100 food, 200 wood. I mean, these rams, they're not siege rams, right? So they will take a good amount of damage from mangonels. They'll take a good amount of damage from the castle fire. Especially a castle, oh, I was going to say full of villagers, but there's only 1 villager in here. Villese realizes that Mr. Yo is getting away with repairing this building and moves forward, takes a bunch of losses, but is it worth it to be able to bust into Mr. Yo's base? Oh, takes a mangonel shot to the face. These knights incredibly weak. They should be able to get the mangonel. No, he does not. One shot away from getting the mangonel. And now this capped ram will start tickling away, but the real problem is these 3 trebs. Like I said, Mr. Yo is in trouble. He is resource broke. He is investing heavily into upgrades. Okay, 2-man saw. He wants his 34 lumberjacks to be able to jack that lumber much quicker. He's getting elite skirmisher. He's getting chemistry. So he is going for all the ranged upgrades that he can. The problem is his opponent is inside his base with 34 army supply. And this mango, not long for this world. And again, Mr. Yo, no response available yet to these trebuchets, which for some bizarre reason, where the hell are you going? Okay. Moving very far into Mr. Yo's base. Okay, I mean, maybe better to have parked them here to the left, but in any event... And this somehow, yes, is 2 trebuchets. In come the villagers. But all these arbalests are going to have something to say about this. And these villagers are going to get jack shit done. 2 more trebuchets. So 4 in total for our Viking player. This castle should go down. I don't see it staying up. Conscription managing to get research just before it goes down. Although, whoa, okay. He is repairing it quite well, but is starting to run low on stone. Will have to buy stone. He's only got 3 miners. And did Mr. Yo wait a little bit too long? His opponent is now inside his base. There are reinforcements streaming across the map. We are doing a tech switch to infantry here, everybody. Two-handed swordsman, 72 HP, elite skirmisher upgrade being researched as well. Not a bad tech switch, especially if you anticipate your opponent's castles going down. But finally, Mr. Yo comes out with the only solution he could, which is the bombard cannon. Does manage to get one treb here, knocks his opponent down to one treb, so actually got 3 in total. And Villese is starting to lose his ranged units here, but unfortunately for Mr. Yo, take a look at the army supplies, 65 to 30. Okay, one more shot from the bombard cannon should be able to get this treb, unless it's on the high ground. Yeah, it's on the high ground, so it does take a little bit less damage, but now should die. So all offensive capabilities of our Viking in terms of taking down structures is now gone. Although there is one more treb available for him. We've got ourselves, as I hoped, a good old-fashioned ranged war. What is Mr. Yo building in the back? He does not want to get housed again. Oh, no. He will lose this town center. Nothing here defending it except a few villagers who are coming under attack from the two-handed swordsman. Conscription going down for our blue Viking as well. So his units are going to start getting pumped out even faster. A castle to the north. I don't see any berserkers coming out of it. Not that he really needs them at this point. Okay, Mr. Yo here with a half-sized army managing to push away his opponent. Villagers making a desperate attempt. They will get nothing done. They have given their life for the Ethiopian Empire. They were directed by Mr. Yo to move forward. He's got to use these bombard cannons a bit better. Yeah, okay, good. Finally starting to get some damage done with them, although Villese, unrelenting, supply capped at 190 for now, would do well to build a few more houses, which, okay, he's going archery ranges instead. But as I was saying, Mr. Yo's doing an okay job so far, keeping his opponent stuck to this middle position, but slowly, Villese is moving forward. This castle somehow is still up, and now Mr. Yo takes revenge by killing his opponent's villagers, his opponent's gold miners, although is being attacked to the south here by these two-handed swordsmen. Iron casting going down, so they will have +1 attack in 56 seconds. And the action firmly in the center of Mr. Yo's base. He cannot lose this castle. Absolutely cannot lose this castle. Villese needs to do something with this treb. I mean, it's a very pretty unit, but it is designed to knock shit down, and right now it is not doing anything of the sort. Why is Villese engaging into castle fire with his two-handed swordsman when in literally a minute these are going to be champions? Oh no, Villese is losing a little bit too much here. That being said, his resources are just fine to keep producing these kinds of units. 47 on food, 9 on gold. He has tech switched completely to elite skirmishers, as has his opponent, who is now inside his base. But finally, some Ethiopian arbalests should be able to kill these two-handed swordsmen and won't get too much done. And the backstab is over. Now, finally, these are champions. And let's see what it can do. I see a red triangle here. Where the hell is this one monk from Mr. Yo? I mean, elite skirmishers are not going to do that great against champions. Take a look at the champion's armor. 5 pierce armor against a unit that attacks on a 7 with no bonus of any kind against champions. Finally loses his monk, does Mr. Yo. So each time these skirmishers throw a javelin, it does literally 2 damage to a champion. And remember, these are Viking champions with 20% more HP. So they're sitting at 84 HP, which means it takes 42 elite skirmishers to one-shot a champion, although with some Ethiopian arbalests. Okay. 84 army supply to 48, though. This castle needs to be defended at all costs. Torsion engines, I'm not sure that's a real priority right now with only 2 bombard cannons. But remember, with that upgrade research, the blast radius of these bombard cannons will go up, and he is losing way too many champions, is our blue Viking. The question is Red losing too many archers and now moving forward with his upgraded, better, and improved bombard cannons? Does manage to get a bunch of these trebuchets of his opponent. Nothing really here to punish Mr. Yo so far, but again, this castle needs to stay up. Villese needs to focus it instead of trying to get these bombard cannons. Let the champions deal with those. Although sending them in one at a time in a nice little line for the castle to snipe is a terrible idea. Mr. Yo doing a fantastic job here defending against these... Oh, the castle goes down. Oh, this is an atrocious loss here. Yeah, not surprised at all. Not surprised at all that he decided to tap out. With this castle gone, these champions are just going to run amok. Did he lose? Yeah, he lost his one bombard cannon. Now he's going to lose the second. I mean, they attack so powerfully. 13+2. He's still missing the last upgrade, so they're not as powerful as they could be. Streaming units across the map is our blue player. I mean, we were focusing so much on Mr. Yo's base. Let's take a look at our blue Vikings base. Look at this center position. What is this? 5 barracks, 7 archery ranges, 3 siege workshops. This is a fantastic amount of infrastructure out of our blue Viking player. A castle in the mix, a castle to the north. What does Mr. Yo have to defend against this one clump of 5 archery ranges? Not enough by any stretch of the imagination. He did a fantastic job here. Fantastic job. And you can tell because take a look at the kill count. 347 kills for Mr. Yo. Only 252 for Villese. But of those 252, 90 are villagers. So really, he's only killed 160 military, which is not a lot for 52 minutes of nonstop aggression. I mean, Villese started this game in quite a mood, very aggressive from the beginning of the game, building up his army supply, using that Viking economic boost of the free upgrades to just pump out a strong, powerful economy. Mr. Yo, I think, played a little bit too defensive. I think the Ethiopians are meant to be a lot more offensive than he used them. But in any event, he did an amazing job defending. Oh, and right as I finished the video, there is a fire alarm test in my building. I'm going to pause the video and then come back. And we're back. I had to mute or cut out the fire alarm test. If you guys live in an apartment building or a condominium or anything with a homeowners association, you know that there's always these kinds of tests. In any event, the alarm is going to start ringing. A good time to try to end the video. Let's take a look at the stats. Villese with the higher APM to Mr. Yo's, who peaked at the 12-second mark of the game. Interesting. Okay. Elite skirmishers were the name of the game for both players today. Let's take a look economically. Oh, lordy, take a look at Villese with that Viking economic boost. They are just so incredibly powerful. 15,000 resources ahead of his opponent. 2,000 gold from the relics. Although even without that gold, he'd still be about 3,500 ahead of his opponent. Let's see, converts. Only 3 converts by Mr. Yo. So not exactly the most effective use of his monks. But my God, what an impressive game out of Villese on the offensive side. And what an impressive game out of Mr. Yo on the defensive side. I mean, again, he's basically double the kill count of his opponent and does, unfortunately, tap out Villese, taking the big W, shoving himself onto our Ethiopian player, saying, you are not going to be able to resist the Viking horde that is approaching you. We are here. We are going to do what Vikings do, which is fucking shit up and destroying civilizations, raiding and killing, pillaging and looting. And Villese takes the W, but really GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.